Good evening, Honorable Minister, sir. So, we had a very good relationship with Nepal. But right now, as we see, it is more influenced by China. And Nepal is backlashing India. So, my question is, what are your thoughts on this? And how do you see India's position in the world in next 10 or 20 years? Thank you.
If I understood your question, you said we had very good ties with Nepal, but now you are suggesting they are not so good.
It is more influenced with China now. Military
Okay.
practices and political meetings.
Okay. See, you are all young people. My first advice to you is don't believe everything you read in the press. In fact, do heavy discounting. Because suppose the press guy writes a story, India had good relations with Nepal, India still has good relations with Nepal, nobody will publish that story. So they have to write a story saying things are not going so well. So, right now, our relations with Nepal good. I'll give you 4-5 examples. I was in Nepal in January this year. Okay. I remember the first time I went to Nepal. This was in 2015. So we are talking 10 years. 10 years ago, Nepal used to get its petrol in trucks, truck by truck from India across the border. So they used to use petrol to get petrol because it was a most inefficient way of getting petrol. The cost of petrol also went up. There would be petrol shortages in that country. Today, there's a pipeline from a refinery in India which supplies petrol to Nepal. Whose refinery? Ours. Who built the pipeline? Us. One example. Example 2. My first memory of that visit, we had long power breakdown. Okay. Now, okay, we have power breakdowns in India also, but you all know that is less and less now. Sometimes you can go whole days, whole weeks, whole months without a power breakdown. You used to have regularly there. Today, power situation very different. Why is it different? Because a grid was built from India to Nepal, carrying electricity from India to Nepal. In fact, it worked out so well, the same grid, Nepal is producing electricity and selling power to India and making money out of it. Now, if you travel by road, the roads have changed. The checkpoints have become much better. There is today a railway connection much deeper into Nepal than there has ever been. So imagine if your power has changed, your petrol has changed, your rail has changed, your road has changed, your border checkpoints have changed, the amount of trade you do has changed. Why would anybody say relations have become more difficult? In fact, if you take all this, compare what Nepal does with India, with any neighbor of, or any country, why neighbor? Any country that Nepal, how much does Nepal trade with other countries? How much does Nepal trade with India? Do the comparison. Don't listen to me. Check it out. You will get a very different answer than your question suggests.
Good afternoon, respected Honorable Minister, sir. So, my question to you is that in this current landscape in which the hostilities are increasing, like China, Taiwan, Israel, Palestine, Pakistan, Afghanistan, etc., what changes do you see in the near future regarding the foreign policy of India? Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's a very insightful question. See, I began my remarks by saying about the present. We should all expect next 1, 2, 3 years, maybe more, to be very difficult. Because nobody expected that there will be a war in Ukraine. Okay? Even when it started, people felt, okay, maybe it will take a few weeks, few months. We are now into the 3rd year of the war. No end in sight. Okay? Nobody expected in October that there will be this kind of attack on Israel. that, this amount of killing and damage would be done, or that when Israel responded, it will go on for so long. It's already over 6 months. Now, I'm giving you these two examples that what is happening today is once the world there is some conflict, some problem, you turn on the switch, very difficult to turn off. That once a problem starts, it tends to pick up on its own. What we need in India, we need peace, peace for ourselves, peace for the world, but even if there is no peace for the world, at least for ourselves, we need growth, we need progress, we need all of you, because, many of you are fortunate that in this country, for 25 years, we have not seen war. Okay? When I was your age, I had seen the 65 war, I was 10 years old. I saw the 71 war, I was 16 years old. I saw, our intervention in Sri Lanka. I went there as on duty. We saw the Kargil war in 99. So the best thing you can wish for any country is to actually see peace, prosperity, and the best way to do that is actually to have a foreign policy which will make sure we don't, we contribute to peace in the world, but we ourselves secure our borders. We are strong enough to deter other countries, and that we, in a way, are able to practice our diplomacy. We can contribute. Even in Ukraine, we are trying to do some things. In the case of when things became very difficult between Iran and Israel, we actually spoke to both of them, to the same foreign minister who died yesterday. So my diplomacy can make a difference, but the first thing we must remember for our diplomacy is it is Bharat first. We must make sure Bharat is secure, Bharat is at peace, that terrorist attacks are not carried out against our country. If there are, we must make sure there's a strong punishment of those people who have carried out these attacks. Then I think we will be in a much more secure.
Thank you, sir. Now I would request the first-time voters to ask the questions.
Hello. Very afternoon, Dr. Jayashankar, and to everyone present here today. Sir, it's an honor to be in your presence today. My question to you is, Bharat has a huge potential to develop in the next 25 years, but the major issue we face is of brain drain. How does the government plan on tackling this situation? Additionally, in the past, many countries have had the policy of mandatory service to the nation, like conscription. Do you think maybe a variation of this kind of a policy could be beneficial for Bharat? Thank you.
If we do conscription, every year about 2 crore people will have to join the armed forces. So if you give them even 3 years of service, that means 6 crore people. So a country like India doesn't need conscription. In fact, when we have military, we have a military. Enough people are with. In many countries, people don't want to join the military. Whatever reason. Maybe their way of expressing Desh Bhakti is different. But in our country, people are willing to join the military, the army, the air force, the navy. Today it's a matter of pride. Even women are joining the military. The policy has changed. We have been very progressive there. So what we need is more than a solution like conscription. How to get people, young people, aware about the country, aware about the future, aware about how they can contribute. They can contribute in different ways. A person who's a great technologist, a person who has invented something in drones. I went to this university in These are people who are doing the BSc and MSc. Many of them have actually invented things which have gone into the space. Okay, so how to contribute, how to get that feeling very widespread. And I feel the young people want to do that. But the first way to contribute is please go and vote. You know, that is your first contribution. That start by voting. Because it's your choice. It's your country. It's your leadership. If you do not associate yourself with that exercise, you are failing your country. So that would actually be my, message to you. But the brain drain issue which you are talking about, see, if we give enough opportunities to people, people will not go abroad or come back from abroad to India. Our problem is not enough opportunities within the country. And that is why today we have to change the economy, we have to change education, we have to create more kind of industries. I'll give you one example. You know, so many Indians go abroad to work in high-tech industries. Okay? Every tech firm you look at, you know, it looks like DTA has made a contribution there. Huh? So that's the character of all the tech industries of the world. Now, if we can start a big semiconductor industry in India, which Modi government wants to do, this is one of the things which is a priority for us. We have just signed the first agreement for a fab with a Taiwanese company. Another Indian company is going to set up a fab by themselves. In this whole semiconductor world, number of other initiatives and investments are coming up. Now, semiconductors is an enormous, it's today the world's leading industry. That is where people are going. That's where the money is going. That's where the technology is going. Now, if somebody could get a chance to head a technology company or to be in a senior position, why would they go abroad? So we need to improve at home. That's the answer.